All right, welcome to all of you for this webinar session. I thought I will initiate this. There's a lot of questions were coming to me telling that give us some tips and tricks in terms of taking a PMP examination. So I thought I'll just schedule a webinar so that would help you people. So it should help. So a lot of initiatives also have taken in terms of conducting prep examination. Still, that is not up to that level where everyone is getting contributed. So the agenda for today's session, I'm going to have an introduction of PMP. All many details already you know, but just as a refresher, what is that must you should know that we'll look at it. And we have Christabel here who already appeared for PMP examination and cleared successfully. So I will invite her to share her experience, how was the examination experience and what it took as an effort to pass the examination. We also have a Rishikesh who had the challenge in getting it through. So we'll see stories from both the sides. What is that required to get successful, and what is that it may become difficult for you to become successful in that. Then we'll see some common mistakes and we'll discuss that. And must have, should have, could have, won't have relating to PMP examination I've discussed. And then we'll see if you have any specific questions relating to this. Right, so I'll play this for you. So why should we do PMP? That's the whole idea behind this. Is it audible?
Yeah.
As we adapt to new ways of working and prepare for future disruption, organizations will see a growing need for skilled project managers. The PMI 2022 Jobs Report showcases emerging sectors and trending industries where project leaders can find opportunities to drive growth and innovation in every region of the globe. Countries in the Asia-Pacific region expect their economies to grow in 2022. Meanwhile, talent is in high demand in many countries and industries. While China's economy has experienced a slight slowdown, a number of factors should contribute to increased project activity, including consumer spending increases and China's energy transition plan. Supply chain disruption and rising energy prices, along with rapid digitalization, are driving an increased demand for project professionals in Europe, especially in IT. The current conflict in the region will have long-term humanitarian and economic consequences that will require response. There has been a spike in demand throughout Latin America for project managers, particularly in the technology and manufacturing sectors. Rebounding oil pricing, government investment in high-profile mega projects, and international events like Expo 2020 Dubai and the 2022 FIFA World Cup promise to reinvigorate the region's economy and need for project managers. The Great Resignation and supply chain problems have put job seekers in high demand in the US and Canada as companies look toward automation and digitization to protect against future disruption. Despite the pandemic, the global demand for products manufactured in South Asia has continued to increase over the past 2 years. As a result, companies are willing to invest more in project managers with strong innovation and leadership skills. Nearly a third of global aid, roughly $32 billion, is spent in Africa, and that's fueling new development jobs across the region, up to 45% of which will need project talent. The demand for project talent is high around the world. Are you ready to take your career to the next level?
Yeah, this is a bit of introduction which I want to give you. I hope in a few of my sessions I've shared this as well. The reason I shared this because to show that importance, the need of the hour, what you should be looking at. And before we move forward, I would just like to call upon, let me stop sharing and then invite Christabel to share her views in terms of what it took for her to clear the examination. So welcome to you, Christabel. Am I audible?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can switch on the camera so that they can see your happiness of
Okay.
the examination.
It said allow team to access your camera. Okay.
Yeah, just try.
Access my camera. Allow.
Is it asking for any permission?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't see any request
Okay.
actually.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yeah, this can join. Like Neeraj has switched on his camera.
But
Yeah,
okay,
now it's on. Yes, yes, it's on.
okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Cause I'm at the train station. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Good
Hey,
evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody.
yeah, firstly, congratulations to you for clearing the PMP exam. And from
Thank you.
everybody's, on behalf of everyone, I want to clap for this, right? A success story. Yes, go
Thank you
ahead.
very
Share your
much.
screen. Yes.
Thank you. Oh, okay. It was quite a journey. It was a journey. I think the main thing, the main thing is the mindset. Having the mindset, the mindset. That's the most important thing. How well do you know the principles? Because the question are majorly on the principle. How do you apply it? You need to understand it. It's not just to cram. You need to have the understanding, and you also have to create time. I know everybody is busy, everyone is busy. You can just create 2 or 3 hours out of your time to practice question. Just keep practicing, keep practicing, and you'll get there. You will get there. Yes.
So what was your mindset? How did you prepare for examination?
Sorry, what did you say? I didn't get that.
What is that you did while preparing for examination in terms of making yourself ready for going through examination?
Sorry, can you repeat the
Am I
question? I
audible?
mean, no,
Yes, I'm asking. I was asking you, what is that you did to prepare yourself for examination in specific?
what task did I do?
Yes.
What I majorly did was to read, keep reading, keep solving questions. I went on YouTube. I bought some um, questions online, some courses, and the ones that are from the PM, the one you sent to us. I kept practicing. I just kept practicing. Before you know it, with time, you will realize that, oh, yes, I think you're there. You just realize that you're there because you keep seeing questions that you have done before, you keep passing it. That's the time you can tell yourself that, yes, I am ready for the exam. Just keep practicing, keep solving questions. That's the secret.
Right.
And the mindset of a servant leader. Yeah.
Yes, yes. How is your energy now? How are you feeling?
I'm happy. As you can see, I'm tired. I'm traveling back to Berlin. I'm just
Right.
waiting for my plane.
Right, Christopher. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
and have a
you.
great journey back to your home and take care.
Thank, thank you. I really
Thanks
appreciate.
for
Thank
joining us.
you.
Yes.
Thank you for the classes. Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
all.
Yeah.
I wish you
Take
guys
care.
all the best. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you. Yeah, that's about Christabel's how she became successful in the examination. So Rishikesh would like to share your story. How was your experience?
Sure, Chandra.
You can switch on the camera.
But
So, yeah.
yeah, I would recommend not to because there is nothing great that I've achieved so
Well,
far.
that's okay. Yeah, if there's something which we should know.
Yeah, understood. So, but yeah, I would like to continue in this fashion, Chandra. So,
Sure,
to
no problem.
prepare, right? So, I did prepare good actually. I'm not sure what went wrong with me. So, I did prepare. I was spending almost like for an hour or two, almost like in last couple of weeks. Like before 3 weeks, I took the exams, and the concept wise, I took. I guess I understood really great, really well, and I took couple of mock tests around six. But again, unfortunately, those were from the sixth edition, but not the latest ones. And mostly those questions were from the from the previous edition of wherein it was mostly focusing on the traditional method, and it did not had any agile based questions or processes, and that was one of the lessons learned which I had to do. It was mostly focusing only on the traditional, the standard processes. So that part which I missed by not practicing on the agile processes and scenarios. And as the previous person was saying, like we need to practice better, and timing is very much critical in this. So to start with, I took a 8 a.m. morning slot, and unfortunately, it so happened that even on a previous day and even before a week or so, I kept studying till midnight, and I was waking up little early. And on a day of exam, I was held tired and couldn't focus much. That was the one of the mistake I did. So the 8 a.m. slot, it did not work for me for whatever reasons. But again, that's not a something common thing that I would say that it's applicable for all, because there were many guys with me who were cleared in those sessions, right? So, but at least for me, the 8 a.m. couldn't did not work out, because even on the same day, I woke up at 5 a.m. and couldn't focus. Kind of, I was feeling sleepy, I was feeling lethargic, sluggish, and couldn't focus. I don't know for what reasons. I was reading the same questions again and again and again, and so having a peaceful mind and a pleasant sleep is good. I guess that is a must. So have either a second half or an afternoon session or a late at around 10 a.m. session. You have it, but not to take the early morning sessions, even so that you can prepare well and have all your senses under control and give it a shot, and run through all the practice sessions. And timing is the key. And minimum 6 sessions, 6 mock-up test is what is a must, I believe, to know the pattern and in which the questions comes. Some questions are in 3 lines, some of them are like a paragraph, and hardly we have any straightforward questions like of calculation of PV, CV, TCPI, and PERT calculation, so on and so forth. Those are all tricky and like a puzzle, I believe, at least for me. So I gave my exams 2 weeks before, and I got above the target on two subjects like people and the business acumen. But in the process, I felt terribly bad. So I couldn't make that, and because of that, I couldn't clear it. So I would say complete all your concepts, understanding preparations at least 2 weeks or 3 weeks before, and take some at least 5 to 6 or 7 mock-up tests so that you will know where you stand and what's your confidence level. And also, when I say that timing is very critical, because I was able to do only 165. Though we had 230 minutes, I couldn't complete 180 questions, and all I was able to do was only 165. So another lessons learned is if you don't get any answers within a minute, please don't stick on to that question. Please get on to the next one. And even if it is the same case with the next question, please skip and move on to the next one. We can always come back later and address it. But that is where a mistake I did, wherein I stuck on that EV, PV calculations, and I guess I spent around 3 to 4 minutes. That's where I fell short of a time. And also that maximum you should not spend more than a minute and 15 seconds on any one question. That is a challenging part. Wherever the questions are pretty much straightforward, you can do it within 30 seconds or within 40 seconds. But on an average, you should not spend more than a minute and 15 seconds. I took on an average around 1 minute 33 seconds, and that's where I fell short and I couldn't attempt the 15 questions. All I was able to do only 165. So had I completed around one question in 1 minute 15 seconds, then still I would have completed, at least I would have still had around 15-20 minutes with me to review and come back on any pending questions. So these were some lessons learned. So my next action plan is I am running through a couple of mock tests, and that's where I need to focus on, so that I can go back and get it cleared. But otherwise, concept wise, I was clear. So it's mostly about the questions, how they frame, they trap it, they make you trap, and how well you understand the scenario, feel it, understand it, and then you answer it. So these were some of the things which I did in a wrong way, which I need to fix and get it done in coming weeks, Chandra.
Perfect. I think your story has a lot more things to learn and know what it is, what went wrong. More than
Exactly.
what
Again,
went wrong was, I think. Yeah, go ahead.
again, yeah, just to say that, see, these are all my personal things and issues and problems which I face. It's not necessarily that others also will face the same problem. No, even most of the session for you, most of you guys, the ATM session might work. So I'm not scaring you guys, but at least it did not work out for me because I was tired, I was struggling to focus, I was lethargic and kind of a stuff. So, but for you guys, whoever is an early bird or an people who wake up early, you guys can, it should be an easy for you. But it's again a lesson learned for me for my situation. So that's how I put it.
Perfect, perfect. So change, what we can say, fatigue, right? So we discussed that during session also, but anyway, I'll touch upon that point. Thank you very much for Rishikesh for sharing your journey, how it went wrong and where exactly. I think you realized, I guess, where you actually went wrong, right?
Yep, yep. I mean,
Yes,
if we
yes,
don't realize, understand, and have a plan, there are high chances we'll do the same mistake
yes,
again
yes.
next time. So we shouldn't be doing that.
Yes, thank you so much. That acknowledgement we have, no? So we're identifying, acknowledging where exactly we went wrong. That is very important and key thing actually. So if I fail to recognize that where exactly I went wrong and what exactly I need to focus on, then it will become difficult. So now the reason I'm sharing this talent triangle again, because to re-emphasize on the point, where the domains are three, what we have, but an examination is conducted based on these three domains and percentage of questions we know. And already we know the questions come from, distributed the tasks from each of these domains, and then these tasks have enablers, and those are grouped into 6 lessons. Now, what happens here is we will have a tendency to do good in people domain. Some will maybe in process and business outcome, but the biggest variations what I see in the scoring marks, 80% of the people who they have expressed, people they have scored much because people management, multiple times people have spoken about people management. So their answering has become bit easier compared to process or business environment domain, because here you come across approaches. The three approaches we spoke about, right? So predictive, adaptive, and hybrid approaches towards taking up the project. Now, while giving you the questions to the examination, there is equal consideration for all types of approaches. But giving to the dynamics of the projects and dynamics, what context that question is being asked, we may require to visualize through what particular methodology, thought process, this question is framed. That is very important. So that's where process part people will go wrong. So business environment part of it, generally, they don't do it only because they're not engaged with any business things in their real life transactions, what they do. But however, we should be aware that every project is taken because of the need of the business. It may be opportunity or a problem. The dynamics we need to understand. So now, as we know, the duration of the examination, I think Rishikesh rightly mentioned, 165 minutes it took for, sorry, 180 minutes, 230 minutes, he could able to complete only 165 questions. What does that signify? The timer. So how do I make myself be on time? That is through practice. Now I'll give an example. So last week itself, if I give an example, I used to sleep like 1 a.m. and wake up at almost like 7 a.m. Now suddenly the schedule changed. So that was still last week, Thursday. Now from Friday onwards, I need to reach the university because there was a corporate and university tie-up program which was focused on IT service management, then application security, and then data modeling and data architecture. So which is a combined 3 days program. So I need to wake up at like 5 a.m. to myself to get ready and go there. It was not online; it was physical in the university. And these are not corporate employees as such. They are the one who are getting prepared to go from college campus to corporate. Now the dynamics differs. Now my body will not allow because I'm sleeping at 1 a.m. and I need to wake up at 5 a.m. I have only hardly 4 hours to go to sleep. Now, what I did was understanding my schedule is like this. I need to wake up at 5 a.m. Instead of doing that, maybe at on Friday, I started doing it on Monday itself. Even though I sleep at 1 a.m., I had to wake up at early morning 5 a.m. and then sleeping in between after 6 p.m. After 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., 2 hours in the evening, and then just logging in again. And I ensured my customer agreed for the 2 hours break for me while doing these online sessions, and that way I managed. So that way prepared my body. So body is such things, body and mind is such a thing which will not allow you for immediate changes. What happens? It will have pullback. That is quite natural. So something what we do repeatedly, something what we do on a regular basis, we will get programmed that way. So people say that as something like comfort zone, but that is the word comfortably we have given. But that zone or that particular programming or scenario occurs to us just because we do it repeatedly and we hesitate to change. And that hesitation is in the mindset. And even though you say, I want to wake up, I want to do this, that tomorrow what I say, afterwards I will do what I say, that never comes. So I've seen one of my friends who's actually become obese actually. So suggestion, because BP was also high, it was suggested him to wake up early and go for a walk or something. And every day, 5 a.m., he says, alarm rings, I press the snooze button. And the tomorrow is never dying. It's almost from 8 months it's happening. Then I told, I will call you so that until you do a video call and I see that you're walking on road, you're out of your house, till that time I keep calling you and disturbing. So I did that forcibly. Then some force applied. Then because his health was getting deteriorated because of that. So he started doing it. 1 week I did it. And after 1 week, he thought, okay, I will do it from tomorrow. Today at least I will rest. And that rest continued. And it has become further worse. So this is the mindset. So the intensity on commitment, what you have that I want to do this always matters. It's not that I'm saying Rishikesh did not had it. It happens to all of us naturally that let me do it afterwards. Let me do it after that comes up. Now, timing perspective, what is told is 165 questions they did, but you have 230 minutes. So how many minutes, if I just take a mathematical calculation, 1.27 minutes per questions. That's how it look like. So what is 0.27 of 60 minutes? It will be like, sorry, 0.27 of 1 minute. How much it would be? It may be around 21 seconds, 20 to 21 seconds. So 0.27 for 100, but for 60 seconds, it will be like 20 seconds or 21 seconds. So 1 minute, 21 seconds. So we should keep the 21 second as a buffer. Our target should be completing it in 1 minute. Like an athlete practice for running an 100 meters race, right? Okay, this is what so the speed achieved by a world champion. I should at least achieve that speed, and that within that duration I should run. So keep a timer and run. That's how they practice, right? Now, same way while practicing your question and answering, you should do that. Having a timer. Just take 10 questions, no problem. How long I took to solve this 10 questions? It need not be a specific topic questions. You take it randomly, 10 questions. How long I took it? The same 10 questions repeat. So now, as you repeat something regularly, it will help you to foresee what else come next. I'll just give you another example. This was done an exercise with college students actually. So these guys were from commerce background. So they wanted to go for some Olympiad examination, which was basically based on computers. Now they had a syllabus, I think around 9 chapters, focusing on various different uh, topics related to computers, Microsoft Office, and then networking, all basics. Now they have never touched computer. They don't know what is that. ROM means I don't know. RAM means I don't know. I will not understand this. So it had around 900 questions. So target given to them was 25 questions per day. So they should do. So then the 25 questions has to be repeated every day. Every day you should keep adding 10 questions to that. So start with 25 questions, complete the 25 questions. Next day, repeat the 25 questions, add 10 more questions. So likewise, as you're answering the 25 questions for a second time, your speed is increased, means the duration you took to answer that is reduced. Then you are adding another 10 questions. So if you took 30 minutes for 25 questions, next day in the 30 minutes, you should complete 35 questions. So likewise, the practice was given and the change, what I saw was within 25 days, I guess, including weekends, I'm saying. I did not say because it is weekend, you take more questions. I never told that. So as they did the steps, within 25 days, how many questions they're supposed to complete? 250 plus 25. It's supposed to be 275 minimum. Because beginning day they start 25 questions, then they keep adding 25, 10, 10, 10. So that way, not 275 actually. So 25 days, 240 plus 25, 265 questions they are supposed to complete. But interesting part is, as they kept doing regularly, they were so encouraged because of the results what they were getting. I could able to see they have completed 500 questions. So this also happens naturally. The target given was that every day 10 questions, increase. Every day 10 questions, keep increasing. So maximum time you will have to complete 100 questions will be 60 minutes by the time you complete 25 days. So that was the target. So as they did for that is regular exercise. It is not that giving a reason that I have that work, this work, irrespective of that, I will do this 25 questions. I will add this 10 questions tomorrow. Never skip. So commitment, what I'm speaking about. People say hard work, people say smart work. And I also kept hearing there is no substitution for hard work. You can only do smart work when you have done the hard work already. So if we tend to do smart work, especially in these anything, what we want to accomplish as a great result, we will have a tendency to fail. So that is the reason to get into practice, which is incremental, right? So incrementals. Now 25 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. If you add, how many PMP questions you can cover in 10 days or 30 days? Just imagine. 30 days means 29 into 10 is 290 plus 25. How much it is? 315 questions. Right? So not less numbers in 30 days, 315 questions. You have become so comfortable with those 315 questions. So in next 30 days, you can add another 300 questions easily. So 600 questions. So I'm speaking about this 10 questions for a reason. It may look very less numbers. I cannot climb a hill just like this. But I'm telling this 10 questions because adding 10 questions per day is not a great deal for anyone. So it just goes like this. So that is the reason I'm saying. So you can have a slabs also. I will complete up till 150 question. First 15 days I do, and I'll go with the next set for next 15 days. You can do at the end of the month, all the 300 I take together. That also you can do. So only thing is every day add 10 questions. That's the commitment what you should have for time management perspective. Right? This doesn't help you to prepare your body and mind to sit and concentrate. It will not prepare you for that. But what it will prepare you is, it will prepare you for focusing and knowing what is this question is all about so quickly. Right? So TCPI, what Rishikesh also mentioned regarding EVM, right? So TCPI, we never discuss in PMP training. But when it comes to earned value management, there is another terminology called TCPI. Sometimes PMP put that questions. So that's the reason when many people start asking what is TCPI. In later new training sessions, whatever I do, I just started adding the TCPI also, so that people will not miss out on that. So this is the key, the time management perspective or answering perspective. This is key. So that I can able to start with 25 questions, repeat those 25 questions for next 15 days by adding 10 questions each day. So 140 plus 25. So 165 questions I should be done by 15 days. So that way you can able to understand the question and what could be the best answer for it. Right? That's relating to the timing what we have and how can we more comfortable and confident while answering them. That is key relating to examination. So I'll speak about many other things more as we move forward. So now we know the entire 6 chapters are grouped into 6 lessons. So now whoever has attended my PMP prep, I never went through giving you the insights about the life cycle perspective, chapter wise studying. The reason behind that is you should understand the task in a particular domain and enablers of it thoroughly. So when I know the topic well, grouping them and seeing through a flow will become easier. Right? So now if I go through the flow and group them separately, what will happen is I will not have a task knowledge well. So for example, I know writing is a skill, reading is a skill, right? Then now a subject is given to me. It may be mathematics, it may be English, a language, or it may be a specific like history. Since I've studied that language, reading and writing, speaking, since I practiced that part of it, giving any subject is not a big deal. It is like that. So I should know my task first. What is this task means? So deep dive into task first. And another interesting thing what I give as a task, which will be great, helpful thing is create your own questionnaires. Like for example, business environment, if you say one of the topics, if I take one of the tasks, if I take stakeholder. Now stakeholders definition. What are the kind of questions I can frame in stakeholders? Stakeholders analysis. As I start framing the questions, I will start seeing the context of the question through the answers. Because already I know the answer for what I'm framing these questions. What are the different ways these questions can be framed? So take that as a topic. Discuss with your colleagues, friends, generally, casually, informally. Okay, if you speak about stakeholder, this comes up, casual discussion. So what kind of questions can we frame? So if the similar discussions you keep making with the same set of people, they'll get bored. So it should be dynamic discussion, which should keep happening. So where not necessarily that your colleagues only, anyone for that matter. So different subjects, different topics with different people. So build that attitude. So there's an attitude of sharing and learning. So many people have a fear when I share the knowledge with someone, the person who is sharing will lose the significance of the presence in the organization. That's what people have expressed. Why people don't share? When I ask this question, the standard response is people don't share because if I share the knowledge, I will become insignificant because other one will learn and they will take over me. How can anyone take over you when you have a specific ability, capability, and knowledge? Nobody can take over if you are a continuing seeker, learner, and like as Rishikesh failed but still have hope. So there is two difference between fear and faith. So fear of faith is something, right? So fearful of failure versus fear what you have that I did not do this today. I want to do it. That is different. So fear of failure is futuristic, which is there somewhere as a future thing which you don't know whether occurs or doesn't occur, like a uncertainty risk. But fear that if I don't do, did I do? Did I not do? That is better than having the fear of future. So that faith you should build. You should have faith first. You should believe on yourself first. So will I really pass this examination? Will I really understand this task? Will I understand rightly? If I ask this person, does he give a right perspective to it? So all this noise which you are there in the mind, right? So that you remove. So keep discussing these topics with the respective stakeholders who is very strong in that. Right? Maybe someone has passed PMP, someone has gone through PMP examination. Speak about topic, discuss, go through the book and say, okay, this is what this book says. So this will also motivate your team members or some colleagues to see that something you are learning, and they will also start cooperating or complementing to you. So you need not say, I want to take PMP examination, I want to discuss this. Not necessary. So such casual discussion, informal discussion may sometimes confuse, but it definitely bring in a lot of complementing thoughts to you that will broaden your perspective. So the experience of mine, I am training right from my school days. And wherever I get an opportunity to my classmates or anyone who is my juniors, I kept sharing. And that was the process of my learning. So teachers used to ask, how will you keep this concept always in mind? And whenever we ask, we tell you. I told this process. I make a point that wherever I get a chance, I keep sharing, I keep speaking about it, so that will remain in me as we speak every day, right? So that will remain in us. Instead of sitting one day and preparing for examination, why don't we do something which is regular and it will become part and parcel of our life? So this one interesting technique which has come to me. I don't know how it come to me. It has helped me. So when everyone says sharing is something which they will take over you, but that has helped me in a big way in terms of knowing more, better, bigger perspective view of the specific topic. So that is very important. So share. Conduct PMP training in your organization. So a lot of doubts comes to your mind. So I have not seen till today. I think SD did for some day. Rishikesh also did for some day. People coming back to me and asking some questions. We face this in our project, and this is what we did, and this is what. So simple questions discussion. If I'm free, I will discuss. I'm always ready to do that to anyone. So nobody did that till today. So very few people sending questions and then seeing answers, but they do that in the certification perspective, but no, never come in a practicing perspective. So taking things for granted is also somewhere difficult. So we should not be conclusive. So more seeking we are, more perspective will broaden to us, right? So what is my weak area? Do that self-assessment. Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. Do I know things about people? How much I know? How successful am I with the people? That look at your home itself. How successful are you with your siblings, parents, or spouse if you are married, children if you have, and friends. So this is all about managing stakeholders. They're all stakeholders. How good are you with your manager, your teammates, your colleagues? And do you speak about negative about them? What do you speak about yourself? What do you speak about your colleagues and friends or manager? Manager may be a very tough manager, very unreasonable, maybe target people. But if you start stereotyping that, okay, this manager is like that, this manager is like, you will build a specific picture of that manager that will disable you, not your manager. So this is very key. So what picture you build? I'll just tell you the live example, what I did recently. One of my friends had an issue with his manager. The issue was this guy wanted to get to an opportunity, and he was asking the manager. Manager was never considering this guy for that opportunity. Now I asked him a question: why do you think your manager is not considering? He had no clue. He simply said, "No, my manager doesn't like me." On what basis are you saying? Just by not giving an opportunity, cannot conclude that your manager will not give you the opportunity. So manager would have not seen what he is supposed to see. There is politics, I'm saying. Politics used in wrong sense in organization. That I'm not denying. But you don't know the perspective of manager at the first place. The moment when I don't know the perspective of manager, I don't know how to handle it. That is the first thing what we should do. Same way, what is the perspective of the questions? What kind of variations I can see in these questions? And when who is interested in what? So identify the such people and discuss accordingly. So then these topics will start opening up for you. So if I'm good at process, don't be conclusive. How to write a process, how to define a process, how does the structure of process looks like? I may be strong, but I may not be strong in the specific process itself. Generally, I may be strong knowing what is process, what process will have, what is input, what is output, how it can be framed. I may be strong. But if I take a specific process, I am really strong. Scope management, people management, or procurement management. In each of these areas, if I take any of the processes, which one I am weaker? In the procurement process, am I good at negotiation? Ask yourself. You would have negotiated things many times. So that is your weakness area. So develop that. See through those topics more often. Answer the questions related to that more often. So that's how you evaluate. Your self-evaluation is very important. So business, mostly majority of the people I've seen will have a very limited information and they get bored so early the moment we start speaking about business. So spend more time with the business professionals. Need not about project management. So any project recently being taken up, what is the background of it, what consideration they made, and take that point and link it to the 4 tasks what you have in business domain, and see that what exactly they have considered. So somewhere the evidencing what happens, no? That is a relative learning. So people say we memorize, my memory has an issue, I cannot remember things. The problem is not with your mind or memory, the way you try to relate. Right. So I think I'm not sure whether I give this example during my session or not. So I studied initially when I got into engineering. I started with diploma engineering and then graduation engineering and MBA. But when we began, it was electronics engineering and diploma what we started with. There is a component called resistor, which will have a color coding. So not very easy to remember. So B.B. Roy of Great Britain had a very good wife. When did I learn this? Almost like more than 25 years back, I learned this. And this was created before that. Every generation, even today, who are gone to computer science or electronics engineering, just ask them. Who has gone to electrical and electronics engineering, instrumentation. They definitely need to study resistors. Ask them, how do they remember color coding of resistors? Even today, they tell this. B.B. Roy of Great Britain had a very good way. So each first letter of the word speaks about color, specific color. First B may be black, B, right? Again, one more B is blue. R stands for red. Y stands for Roy of Great Britain. G stands for green. So likewise, each first letter signifies a color. It is in the order actually. It is a numbering scheme with an order. So same way, I think in risk also, I guess give this acronym like eat my apple. That can be a acronym which you can remember for risk responses. So many of you remember, just try that way. So relative learning or relate to some incidents what you have or something what you implemented. I did this. Create a stories. Very interesting technique what I actually sometimes practice is writing articles, writing stories using this flow of project like business environment, 4 tasks I have. considering can I write a story? And one of my participants, what that guy had done was to understand this, especially negotiation part of it, procurement part of it. He has watched some movies and tried to link these topics of procurement management to that movies. I don't remember the movie's name, but these are all the perspectives to recall or remember something. Don't try to mug up. Mug up can be for quick. I need to answer something quickly now, and I'll do that. That's okay. But for you to be like free flowing one who can think beyond what is needed, and application is also something like in real time, right? And PMP certification kind of thing has a great value that if you pass it, okay, this guy has that value. That's what the consideration people make, right? So having that in mind, have relative learning, bring in the concepts to some scenarios. Like yesterday's example only I give you data. What is data? Simple definition. But how do I remember? So there was a story given. I gave a case story to them. Identify data in this. So there they could able to understand better. So different techniques you follow, and your enablement is something which is required before you pass the PMP examination. That is the confidence building exercise. So visualize this flow only after you go through each task and understand them, and try to frame the questions related to that. And when you start answering the question and answers, the 25 questions, 10 questions adding I told, right? Start doing it at the task level first. So in this task, what type of questions can come? Let me group it and start answering that questions. So then as you complete task by task, then come to the mock tests what you have, whichever is given to you, shared with you in this flow, lessons wise. You regroup, you only regroup it and come lessons wise. What are the tasks it has and how you regroup those questions and go through it. And next, any of your training institute, what you went through, those mock tests you're taking, right? That is very important. So visualization of the flow, putting things into practice, and then taking that 25 questions plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 task wise first. Then parallelly, after going through each of the tasks in the domain, coming to the chapters. And as we know, when I speak about business environment, straight away it links to business outcome, right? Some of these chapters straight away link to process, some of this link directly to people. So that you visualize and do accordingly. So next is about common mistake what people do. Now preparation, we say, what we think is preparation means I just go through the topic, I'll understand each of that, and I'll start answering. But examination preparation doesn't limit to the topic questions alone. It relates to you also. So initially what we discussed, right, like timing of every time fixing up a time for reading. Best time for you to prepare is early morning, in between 5 and 7. That is the best time. Generally, the people say it starts at 3 a.m., but we cannot do 3 a.m. thing because you have to go to work also. So 5 to 7 is the best time, where your mind will be very fresh. No disturbance. It's just you're beginning the day. Start, spend 45 minutes, 1 hour every day, right? And focusing on memorization instead of understanding. This is what I was telling you. So relative learning, putting that into the practice, right? Discussing with someone. Then neglecting exam taking strategies. So I don't even visualize. So there is some visualization technique, I'll tell you. So when you visualize that 230 minutes of examination, how do you want that exam to be looking like? So your mind is very strong. Each of us has such a great thing given to us. It has a very strong thing. As you feed it to it regularly, it will start manifesting. This is my experience, I'm telling you. So through these techniques, I have solved many problems. So recently I've initiated something for one of my friends who is having the Parkinson disease, that 20 lakhs was something which was asked to him by the hospital. And it is one hospital is in Coimbatore, India. Is I think only one hospital which has that facility across the continent, I guess Asia. Across Asia, that is the only thing I heard. 20 lakhs Indian rupees he needs, but he was unable to generate little bit of money itself. So we use this visualization technique. I asked him to do this every day. And they also facilitated. Now at least around 12 lakhs is organized already within, let me say, 10 days. Another 8 lakhs has to be organized. So this is recently proven thing what I'm saying. It works for everything. Right. So many times when I went for some customers consulting programs, there will be some serious issues which will be going on, which will actually stop our consulting or any of things happening in the organization. So those problems will become priority ones in the organization to solve. So those were solved by just stepping back, visualizing what are the cost for this, how can we resolve, who can be the best resource to resolve this, and initiating the discussions accordingly. It has helped, right? So please do that. It will be great help to you. So visualizing that examination and how the flow would happen as you do the mock test, there you will have already an experience. Visualize, prepare yourself, visualize that you passed the examination. That is very important. So then not using exam prep materials, right? Please use that. And overconfidence. Overconfidence, generally we don't recognize that overconfidence what we have. We fail to recognize that we are overconfident. That is a problem. So don't even try to evaluate, am I confident, overconfident? Just try to acknowledge, do I know the answer for this? Whenever you go through the question. So overconfidence leads to ignorance. Ignorance is bliss, but not always. It is very contextual again. Then failure to read questions. This is one big common mistake what people have done, not understanding the question correctly and trying to answer. I see some few terminologies and based on that I try to answer. Wrong thing. What I should do is I should ensure I should read the question, relate the answers given to the question's context. Then do back and forth with the options and questions. Does this option relate to this question? Does this option relate to the questions? And then attempt to answer. Then not managing exam anxiety. So when will you have an anxiety of examination? When preparation is not well. That fear of failure, what I said. Have faith. That is the reason I sat in the front, not behind. Fear pulls you back. Faith takes you forward. So look forward. Right? Contextually, philosophically, it may say something like saying is easy, doing is difficult. But literally, practically, faith is very important, which drives towards it. And I've told you that visualization technique, which is very strongly it works. It's not one day what I'm asking you to do. I think I've heard people have resolved many issues, medical issues for the people, which they're suffering from that ailment, this ailment, just helping them to have this visualization technique, they become healthy. So personally, I've not seen, I have heard people saying it, but many problem-solving scenarios, many challenging scenarios, something which I want to achieve, this visualization technique has helped me. Personally, I'm saying. So try doing it. Very, very, very helpful. So don't have this anxiety. Anxieties you can kill through confidence, not through overconfidence. The confidence what you have built through practice and having a clarity. So curiosity makes you to learn. The curiosity killed the cat. They say that is. I don't never agree to that statement. Maybe some cat would have been killed, but for PMP curiosity, you will not be killed. So have the curiosity of seeking, understanding, having proper clarity, and then you will become more confident based on that and more clear about your steps. But all of us know how to walk, right? So how many times we have slipped even after that? That is possible. How many times your bike or bicycle have skid? How many times you hit the car somewhere or scratch somewhere? Even though you practiced every day, that possibilities are there, but very less. The probability of occurrence of that is very less. That we should know. So practice is key. And how to practice, I told what not to do. I don't have that anxiety, exam anxiety of failure, fear of failure. Have that possibility seen more than anything else. Right? Create the list. What is that must have? What is that should have? What is that could have? What is that will not have? To schedule your preparation. Today, what is that must have for me? What task I'm going to go through? And in that, what is that I do? For this, what do I need? So prepare this, visualize this. Formally, when it's not right, but visualize this. Do Moscow every day. What is must have today? So including your real work scenario also, what is that must in the organization is being asked. So do Moscow, and this is very strong technique again. So, and again, if you go through each of the topics in this, what is that must I will do? Create that list. Like I will do questionnaire creations today. I will look at solving 10 questions relating to this. Right. So likewise, must what I should do. Your work also will be there. That also put into the list. So out of 10 things you do in a day, the 10 things, including your professional, personal, and this exam preparation, consolidate all of that into Moscow. Not just PMP part. PMP part should also be there in this. All that you do, put it here. There may be some dynamic thing which keeps coming in your profession. That should be only a 5% probability, not beyond that. That is the level of clarity you should get into. That happens through practice. Please do that. And I guess any questions, I will clarify. Let me know if you have any questions so that I can clarify. So in summary, what I can say is preparation requires having faith, visualization, and daily routine we should keep it. And please do it early morning and have Moscow on a daily basis. Do it accordingly, but prepare the Moscow before you go to sleep. So one thing, what is very important is whatever you did in a day, end of the day, just tick like a checklist. Once you complete all of that, what is that I will do tomorrow? Create, put it, and don't even think about it while you go to sleep. That is very important. So that's it from my end for today. Hope this will help you in terms of preparing your for examination. So please let me know if you have any query, questions. I'll be answering that. Any questions? Yes, Shaimi, go ahead.
Hi, Chandra, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I just want to know from where do we get the mock test? Like, how do we keep getting questions? From where? What is the source for these questions for the mock test?
Okay, what you do, so you start working with the task first, creating your own questions kind of thing. If you have
Okay.
gone through any training institutes training already, they will have a mock test. Parallelly, what I'm doing is, you saw that CMR Excel website, right? cmrexcel.com. So I just started this webinar first. That website is yet to be fully ready. So what
Okay.
I'm trying to do is to introduce the questionnaires to for mock test, at least 1,000 questions for PMP I'm planning for. So those will be updated there, and I may share that with you people where you can have an access to that. Clear? And
Yes.
I'm going to create a WhatsApp group for this webinar from today onwards. PMP perspective specific group I'm going to create. So I have some people who participate in PMP program also. I will also put them into this. That whoever comes an interest in PMP thing, I just start putting them in. Some of them are already in the common group what I made, so which I don't post things much there, but focused on PMP part of it, I'm trying to create a group. So I'll add there as the update happens, I'll keep updating it. That will help.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Fine. Thanks.
Yes. Have you gone through training, Shaimi, already? I remember your name. You were in one of my
Yes.
trainings.
Yes. Yes. I was there in the Edurekas
Right. So they have
last
mock
year.
tests, but I've heard something there. Pinbox 6th edition's questions are also there. I have heard that from one of the participants. So I want to overcome that also through these exercises.
Okay.
Right?
But they have limited mock tests only. So once we do one or two mock tests, it will not be enough. That's why I asked this
Yeah. So
question.
one more program what I'm initiating is see 2 PMP examination program I did. So one I did for spread across the entire month. Other one I did for spread across 3 months. Now there is also some learning for me also. What is working for people, what is not working. So having that in mind, as I analyzed it, it is time what people are finding difficult. So from I think mid of September onwards, I'm thinking to initiate another program, which will go like this. Like one of the end of the week, I will have one session, but before having that session, I will give the list of topics which you need to prepare. So that session will be giving the glimpse of the topics only, and then conducting the test itself during the session. And based on those questionnaires, giving the feedback. So like 4-hour session or 2-hour sessions. I think 2-hour session will be very small. 4-hour session at least per week. In the weekend or on Friday or Monday, whichever is feasible to me. I'm just doing Saturday as a day because everyone can. It is easy for all of you to come. So Saturday 4 hours, so where you can come prepared, attend that examination, and then I will give you the feedback on each of the questions so that you can know what it takes to understand and what is the right answers. So that way, I'm thinking, can we do it for 6 weeks? 6 weeks in the sense 7, 6 or 32. Correct now? Am I right? 6, 6, 42, sorry. 6 6 are 36, 6 7 are 42. Yeah, 42 days kind of thing, which is almost like 2 months thing. It will come 1.5 month or 2 months, 1.5 months mostly. So 4 plus 2, yeah, 1.5 months. So that way you are prepared. So the same thing you should continue, the same mode, so that you can able to accomplish results. Make sense? So I'll
Yes,
anyway
yes.
update that part of it, because this is
How
through
do
learning of other 2 preparation programs I conducted, so that I can complement this way the changes what I can bring in to make it better. Because regularly I do the trainings, and 100% I know just going through that 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours training every weekend or every day will never help. It only can help you to understand what topics can be there in the subject, and what I should focus with. That's all it helps with. If you can, some people grasp that itself and go, like we had this Christabel, right? She did not go for any preparation program. She attended 1 month back actually. So this is what we're in now, end of August. She attended during July. So she passed within 1 month. That may be her learning ability, but not everyone will be like that.
Okay. How do we get information about these classes and
I
these
will share.
question
I will
and
share. The way I've shared with you people, I'll share.
okay, thank you.
PMP groups we have, no, as I created for every session. So I'll just keep sharing. Clear?
Yes.
Okay.
But I am not part of any group, so I was just thinking. I got it from LinkedIn.
I know. So later, I think last month onwards, I stopped doing it because there was a request from my director. Reason I don't know. So things goes on, nothing to worry. Training Institute has that reservation maybe to safeguard the students' interest, maybe.
It will be available in LinkedIn, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
fine.
So you have shared the number now. So this particular candidates definitely get the updates. Who is there registered for this?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for that, Shaimi. Any questions from anyone? Should I assume no questions? Okay, assuming no questions. Thank you so much for coming here. So I'm taking this as a mission to make difference in the people's life. At least next 1 year, I should see that through these initiatives, 95% people passed at least. That is the news I want to hear, because global survey given to me says passing percentage is 60%. I mean, PMP candidates passing examination like that. So reasons I studied. That's why I started thought of sharing this, doing this webinar. And maybe in the next 6 months or 1 year, I should see the passing percentage, at least for the people who have gone through these sessions, should increase to 94%. So that's the commitment from my end, which I kept for myself. And I wish you all the best. And I keep you updated on latest things, what is going to happen. And keep learning, keep growing. All the best. Right? Take care. Have a great evening ahead. Thank you.
Thanks, Chandra.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, sir.